What if the best car Toyota ever made was one they didn't even market as fast? Part 1. They say Lexus built cars for quiet commutes and country club parking lots. But this? This is something else entirely. Born in Toyota's golden era and wrapped in leather and restraint, the GS300 is a luxury sedan with a secret. And it doesn't whisper, it waits. This is the second-generation GS300, the one hiding Toyota's most infamous inline-six beneath a polished exterior. It never asked for attention, but it earns respect from anyone who knows what a Two JayZ really means. Because this car isn't just comfortable, it's criminally capable. Rear-wheel drive, double wishbone suspension, overbuilt in every way. And at the core of it all, the Two JayZ GE, the naturally aspirated version of the engine that made the Supra a legend. No turbos from the factory, but every bit of the DNA is there, waiting. Part 2. The engine Toyota tried to hide in plain sight. Here's where things get serious. The GS300 came with a 3.0-liter inline-six known as the Two JayZ-GE. Yes, that Two JayZ. Same engine family as the twin-turbo monster in the MK4 Supra. Same overbuilt iron block, same forged internals. The only difference? No turbos. Yet. Stock. The GE version made around 220 horsepower and 220 foot-pounds of torque. Modest, sure, but this thing was a time bomb in the best way. It idled like a Lexus. It cruised like a Benz. But with just a turbo kit, a standalone ECU and some bolt-ons, you're looking at 400 to 500 horsepower with factory internals. That's the cheat code. Supra performance, Lexus comfort, Camry reliability, and all of it flying under the radar. No giant wings, no body kits, no drama. Just clean lines, heated seats, and enough hidden potential to gap muscle cars on the freeway. And the best part? Nobody sees it coming. That's the GS300's entire identity. A quiet assassin built for the smart and the sneaky. Part 3. Overbuilt luxury you can actually feel. The GS300 didn't just borrow Supra DNA, it borrowed Toyota's obsession with over-engineering. This wasn't some rebadged Camry with wood trim. This was built on the Toyota Aristo chassis, the same platform that hosted twin-turbo Two JayZs in Japan. It had a structure stiff enough for serious speed, yet plush enough to soak up daily life like a spa day. Inside? Real wood accents, soft leather, power everything, climate control that still works 20 years later. Even the door thunks feel like a vault. Lexus wasn't chasing luxury. They were trying to crush the Germans at their own game. And for the early 2000s, the tech was wild. Optional navigation, touchscreen, stability control, traction control, and a premium 7-speaker system that still bumps today. This car wasn't just smooth, it was smart, thoughtful, and absurdly ahead of its time. That's why the GS300 didn't age like other early 2000s sedans. It aged like a wine cellar with VVTI, which is short for variable valve timing with intelligence. And under all that polish, a platform begging to be unleashed. Part 4. Built to handle, engineered to be unleashed. Underneath the GS300's quiet luxury is a suspension setup that's shockingly capable. We're talking independent double wishbones, front and rear, the kind of geometry you usually see in sports cars, not executive sedans. The ride is smooth when you want it, but precise when you push it. It's the kind of car that lets you float to the office and carve a canyon on the way home. Toyota didn't just throw parts at this thing, they designed it to last. The chassis is balanced, the steering feels tight, and the bones are strong enough to take real abuse. That's why tuners and drifters love it. It doesn't just tolerate power, it invites it. The GS300 might not have launched with a manual, but that hasn't stopped builders. Swaps using the R154 or even the legendary V1606 speed have turned these into legit street weapons. Pair it with coilovers, a 1.5-way LSD, and sticky tires, and suddenly this plush sedan starts behaving like a rear-wheel drive animal. Quiet on the outside, controlled chaos underneath. Part 5. The Two JayZ GE, a time bomb, waiting to explode. This is where the GS300 stops being polite and starts getting violent. The Two JayZ GE might not have turbos out of the box, but it was born to boost. Toyota didn't cut corners. They just left the door open, and tuners ran through it like it was Black Friday. The block is cast iron, the internals are forged, and the oiling system was built to handle way more than 220 horsepower. Drop in a turbo kit, standalone ECU, bigger injectors, and some supporting mods, and you're pushing 400 to 500 horsepower reliably, without even cracking the engine open. Go deeper? You're looking at full forged builds cranking out 700 plus horsepower, sometimes even more, all while keeping heated seats, cold AC, and full Lexus class. That's what makes the GS300 special. It's not just fast, it's fast without sacrifice. And the aftermarket, it's deep. Turbo manifolds, fuel systems, intercooler kits, coilovers, wide bodies, all of it exists. You're never on your own. This car doesn't just allow performance, it thrives on it. Part 6. One car, infinite personalities. This is where the GS300 gets dangerous because it refuses to fit in one box. Want a VIP cruiser slammed on air with Wed's Kranza wheels and custom wood grain? Done. Prefer a drift missile with angle kits, cage, and a Two JayZ GTE swap? Easy. Or maybe you're the guy who just wants a fast, low-key daily that gaps chargers without looking like a menace. This car says yes to all of it. That's the power of the GS300. It adapts. It speaks to tuners, to JDM purists, to VIP builders, to street racers, and even to grown-ups who just want a reliable rear-wheel drive sleeper. You can take it to a car meet and a job interview on the same day. On forums like Cult Lexus or JZX swap groups, you'll find builds pushing 800 horsepower, drifting sideways through tight courses, or just sitting on air with flawless fitment and a flawless idle. And they all started with the same thing, a humble, affordable GS300 that nobody looked twice at. Until they heard the blow-off valve. Part 7. The Smartman Supra, for a fraction of the price. Let's talk numbers, because this is where the GS300 laughs at the rest of the JDM scene. While MK4 Supras are pushing 6 figures and IS300s are getting drift taxed to hell, clean GS300s are still floating between $5,000 and $10,000. That's not just a deal, that's grand theft horsepower. And here's the twist. Even if you build one, turbo kit, manual swap, suspension, tuning, exhaust, full aesthetic glow-up, you're still coming in under the cost of a bone stock Supra. That's absurd. You get Two JayZ performance, Toyota reliability, and Lexus luxury. And you'll still have money left for tires, tools, or hell, a second GS as a parts car. This is what people don't realize. The GS300 isn't just cheap, it's undervalued. And undervalued cars don't stay that way forever. The Supra crowd already knows. The drift guys know. VIP builders know. But the general market? Still sleeping. And the longer they sleep, the better your shot at grabbing one before it all disappears. Part 8. The clock is ticking, and most people have no idea. Here's the part nobody wants to hear. These cars are starting to vanish. The GS300? It used to be everywhere. Craigslist, Marketplace, dealer lots with dust on the dash. But now, the clean ones are drying up. The stock ones? Almost mythical. And the unmolested ones with low miles? Practically extinct. Why? Because the secret's out. Builders are grabbing them up, gutting them, boosting them, or sliding them sideways into tire walls. Every time one gets caged, or slammed, or drifted into a wall, there's one less clean GS left for you to buy. And it gets worse. The aftermarket knows it. Prices on R154s, turbo kits, even body parts are creeping up. You can feel the tension. It's like watching the final minutes of a Black Friday sale, but the product is an entire generation of cars. This isn't a maybe someday situation. It's happening now. If you're still waiting for the perfect one to pop up cheap, you already missed it. The next wave of GS300s, they'll be rare, expensive, and fought over. Part 9. The Cult Lexus that became a legend. You won't find the GS300 on Top Gear reruns or in Gran Turismo intros. It never got a Fast and Furious moment. It never needed one. Because while the world was distracted by Supras, Skylines, and RX-7s, the real ones, the tuners, the engineers, the madmen in the forums, they were quietly building monsters. On Club Lexus, Supra forums, and JZX Facebook groups, the GS300 has carved out a reputation. Not just as a budget platform, but as a legit street legend. You'll see builds with full Two JayZ GTE swaps, manual conversions, 800 horsepower dyno pulls, and VIP cruisers so clean they'd make a Rolls-Royce blush. And every time someone asks, "Wait, that's a Lexus?" That's a win. Because the GS300 doesn't need to be loud to prove anything. It's not trying to impress the casuals. It's a car built for those who know. A car that's quietly moved from forgotten sedan to respected icon in just a few years. And if you get one now, you're not just buying a car, you're joining a movement. Part 10. The last sleeper standing. Here's the truth. The Lexus GS300 is everything car culture pretends to be, and almost never delivers. It's got the heart of a Supra, the comfort of a Mercedes, the reliability of a Camry, and the street cred of a midnight drift crew in Osaka. All wrapped in a body that your neighbor thinks is just another old luxury car. But that's what makes it lethal. It's a predator in disguise, a silent assassin. It doesn't beg for attention. It earns respect the second it spools up and disappears into the night. And while the rest of the world fights over overpriced Supras and clapped-out drift shells, the GS300 is still there, waiting for the right hands, the right build, the right moment. But not for long, because the prices are rising. The clean ones are disappearing. And soon, the GS300 won't be a sleeper. It'll be a legend that got away. So if you're smart, you'll act before the world catches on. Because this isn't just a car you can build, it's the car you'll wish you had.